Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ram Makasait, and I'm a Go Digital Evangelist here at Steer, and I'll be your facilitator for today's webinar, Doubling Profits in Construction by Going Digital. This online event is hosted by Steer and is co-presented by Kubo, Microsoft, and Crayon Philippines. Here's what's in store for you today. First, we'll be sharing with you important research findings on the state of the construction industry and the pressing problems that we're facing and our take on the matter. In the second part of the program, we also have with us experienced construction industry professionals to give insights and share their experiences working through these industry challenges and how they've overcome these by going digital. We're also going to run polls all throughout the program for you to participate in, and we might have a Q&A towards the end if we have enough time. With that, I hope everyone is as excited as I am, and I'd like to again welcome you to our webinar. Our first speaker will talk about the areas in construction that incur more costs than they should and how digitally transforming can help address these. He is the head of research and digital transformation consulting at Steer with varied experience from leading multinationals to fast-growing startups. His expertise includes digital transformation, corporate strategy, and innovation management. Everyone, let's listen to Sid Vadera.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sid, and I take care of research and partnerships here at Steer Platform. I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of everyone here at Steer to welcome you to the webinar, and I hope that you're able to take away some key pointers which will help you grow your construction businesses. During the next 15 to 20 minutes, I would be sharing some of our key findings and analysis on the research that we've conducted. In the second part of our discussion, I would also be sharing our take on how we feel companies like yourself can address some of these pain points which our research has highlighted. But before we get into our findings, I'd like to share that our research was a careful mix of professionals across the construction industry in different markets. The study that spanned almost 2 months. We were able to interview consultants, developers, and contractors of different sizes across India, the Philippines, and Singapore markets. This deep ethnographic research brought to light numerous pain points in the industry which stakeholders are grappling with, which we would like to highlight during the course of our discussion. Despite the construction industry being the backbone of economic growth, it would hardly come as a surprise to stakeholders that the $10 trillion construction industry is the least digitized sector. It's riddled with numerous inefficiencies, so much so that almost 70% of the projects are delayed or over budgeted due to manual processing. This results in almost 44% of all construction projects suffering losses. I'd now like to pass it on to Ram for a quick poll question.
Thanks, Sid. We'd now like to take a short break to ask you, our audience, for your feedback on certain points we'll be discussing during this webinar. So the first question is, would you agree that the construction industry, despite its size and investment, is the least digitalized? You have around 10 seconds, and we'll show the results immediately after. All right, great. As you can see, it seems like most of the people at the webinar have agreed that this really is that the industry really is lacking digitalization. So before we get back to Sid's report, here's a clip of a construction company executive talking about the challenge of visibility while scaling your company. One of the major pain points that we found in this industry.
Well, you know, we've been in operation now for 18 months, and the scale and growth that we've gone through, we sort of spent the first 6 to 8 months just growing, and everything was fantastic and it was moving fast, and then all of a sudden it got scary because we didn't have the visibility into what was happening where. We got some clarity around our financials, but more importantly, we got some clarity around our operations. I don't only feel that we could manage bigger projects, I know that we can, and we have. And that's really the transition that I saw in the last 6 months.
Because the construction industry is not digitized, one of the main problems is the lack of visibility, which is something our research also validated. As many as 72% of our respondents could not track the progress of on-site activities. This includes progress of site tasks, workers assigned to tasks, or sitting idle, and the exact status or the bottlenecks of the project. Almost 60% believe that the lack of availability of real-time data prohibits them from taking educated decisions at the right time. A significant majority also highlighted the inability to create and track ad hoc requests, causing inefficiencies and delays. Passing on to Ram for a quick poll question.
Hi, thanks, Sid. We're back. But before we move on with the rest of the report, we'd like to know what you think of visibility as a pain point. How much of a concern is visibility, communication, and transparency at the job site for your business? Once again, you'll have around 10 to 15 seconds to respond, and we'll show you the results of the poll immediately after. Great. It seems that a lot of you have agreed that it is very critical that visibility, communication, and transparency across the job site is a concern, and it should be addressed. So before we move on to Sid's report, we'd like to show a brief video about coordinating activities on site and in the head office, always having been a challenge in this space. Let's hear the perspective of a project manager about the problem firsthand.
There still is manual processes involved in our industry, but when we can do things through automation or through digital transformation to kind of take the busy work out of things, they can spend their time on a higher impact task.
During our research, we had the opportunity to interview a number of stakeholders in the construction industry. While materials mismanagement, pilferage, and wastage was a common pain point, one of the contractors went on to suggest that materials management and optimization was the biggest challenge his construction company faced. 70% of the cost of construction projects can actually be attributed to materials management. And therefore, controlling materials wastage and misuse is a burning pain point for most of our respondents. With so much at stake, our research reveals that over 80% believe that on-site materials management, scheduling, and procurement is done manually, leading to cost overruns. Interestingly, none of the companies in our research study conducted a root cause analysis to understand the variance in the materials used to be able to take corrective steps to address it. Passing the screen on to Ram now.
Thanks, Sid. With that said, we'd love to know your opinion on materials management on site and in your business. Please vote for the options and I'll present the results to you shortly. Remember, you have around 10 to 15 seconds to complete the poll. All right. It seems that a majority of you feel that it is a major concern, especially if you're managing it manually. And this is consistent with most of our findings. So that was interesting. For now, let's go back to Sid, who'll continue the rest of his report.
It is also interesting to note that researchers all over the world have been intrigued by construction waste management. All of this academic literature was an integral part of our research. Our study also brought to light the growing importance of environmental impact on materials waste as a rising concern. Almost 70% of our respondents highlighted the growing relevance of effective waste management on construction sites. It must also be noted that 11% of greenhouse gas is caused due to construction activity, and approximately 20% of municipal landfill comes from construction waste, a trend which government agencies and compliance authorities are increasingly becoming aware of. While the causes of construction waste have been a topic of research, not much has been done to resolve some of the most challenging issues around construction waste. A number of construction waste causes could actually be addressed by using software applications. For example, materials misuse could be reduced by proper tracking and control. Similarly, ineffective planning and scheduling could also be improved by using the scheduling function on the application. As for the lack of supplier involvement, having them on the same platform could enable seamless communication and improve their contribution. Software applications make it easier to handle the issues highlighted in the slide, which have a direct impact on construction waste. Passing it on to Ram for the next part of the webinar.
Sounds good, Sid. Thank you. In line with our findings, we'd like to ask you, the audience, what is your opinion on the impact of construction waste in regards to your business, economically and environmentally? Again, we'll give you around 10 to 15 seconds and we'll show the poll results immediately after. It seems that over half of you have participated. We encourage the other half, if you can share some insight on this one or feedback, would be great. But as the poll results are in, 55% of the audience has participated, and it seemed that 70% are concerned about both the economical and environmental impact of construction waste with their businesses. So this is great stuff. Let's get back to Sid for the final part of our research findings.
Summarizing our research findings, we would like to share that the participants unanimously agreed that manual materials management is a top concern for construction companies, and not managing it effectively can have high cost implications. There were other key aspects which our research brought to light: improving communication with on-site teams, integration to ensure real-time and accurate visibility into the status of the project, and tracking ad hoc requests which might cause materials use variance. Now that we've shared some of our key findings from our research study, let's look at our approach on how these challenges could be addressed to achieve higher profitability. The current approach is to rely on project management solutions for task scheduling, leaving materials management as an ERP function that handles procurement and delivery. While project management solutions are great for task scheduling and milestone tracking, correlating planned and ad hoc materials use with the budgeted materials use is critical. The materials management module of the construction ERP system is dependent on the BOQ, which often makes it difficult to track materials wastage per construction element. This makes it hard for supervisors to take corrective action based on real-time input. What is missing is a holistic approach that connects everything to materials used. covering planned and unplanned work. Materials amount to a substantial cost of construction projects, and adopting a material-centric approach cuts down on waste and helps improve timely delivery of projects and ensures higher profitability. Our approach enhances the existing project management practices by tightly connecting the BOM to the project deliverables, ensuring a more robust control over materials usage. It starts by inputting the pre-construction output, the BOM, design, and the work plan, which forms the basis for any construction activity on site. Construction is followed by inspection, might result in rework, ad hoc changes, or edits to punch list. Steer tracks the entire iterative process, leading to the finished product on the construction site. Not to mention managing waste disposal, recycling, reuse, and providing real-time visibility to allow for timely intervention. The data from all of these activities is critical to performing variance analysis and management control, leading to the desired result of lower material use and higher profitability. And this is where Steer comes in. Our solution takes a material-centric approach to managing all major activities in construction sites, leading to a 10% reduction in the total construction cost and a greener and a more profitable business. Steer offers site material and operations management, as well as design and change management that connects with each other to gain an unparalleled visibility and control over materials used and costs. These are the modules that cover various activities in a construction site, and all of them work towards optimizing materials use. Steer's material-centric approach to digital transformation could be summarized in a three-step process. In the first step, monitor, we use the bill of materials, work plan, and design as a reference to gather and monitor material consumption data. Through the connect step, that real-time materials usage data is compared to the budgeted materials usage, and the root cause analysis is performed on any unaccounted variance. Down the line, machine learning can be applied to the built-up data where patterns are used to generate predictive controls for future projects. To summarize, a digital platform like Steer allows seamless integration of design drawings, bill of materials, and project WBS, which forms the baseline for the project. Planned and unplanned material use, from change order, rework, and refinements, pilferage, are tracked real time to ensure any variance from the budgeted materials is accounted for. The active waste management module of Steer leads to reuse, recycle, and proper disposal. A deep dive root cause analysis is performed on any unaccounted variance, the data which is then fed into intelligent machine learning models to learn and predict for continuous improvement. Let's take a sample calculation of a project of 100 million pesos. The cost of materials is approximately 70%, accounting to 70 million pesos. With the materials waste averaging at 18%, the total materials waste is close to 12.5 million pesos. A digital solution like Steer accounts for 60% of material waste savings, leading to an additional saving of close to 7.5 million pesos. All of these assumptions of the calculation are based on research findings. So a solution like Steer accounts for a saving of 8% on the total project cost and a 5 to 10% margin on the top revenue. This translates into twice the enhanced profitability for your construction company. With this, I would like to conclude the first session of this webinar and would pass it on to my colleague Ram to proceed with the next parts of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid, for that very informative talk. The material-centric approach for managing operations is definitely a new way to solve the industry's most pressing challenges. At this point, we'd love to hear your opinion on which of these cost leakages or waste are a challenge or concern for you and your company. So please vote, and we'll share the results again shortly. We understand that with this poll, there's a little bit more choices than the previous polls, so we'll wait a little longer until we show the results. It says here around 51% of the audience has participated. We'd encourage the other 49% to participate in the poll, please. Right. So it seems like the poll has ended, and okay, the results are quite interesting. It says here 74% of you in the audience feel that control and supervision is one of the key pain points, followed closely by material ordering problem, misuse, and change to design.